Howdy everybody, I'm Derbyshire, and today I'm going to run down a commander deck that I built. I do not have it in paper yet, so I've not done all the testing that it really needs, but it's pretty close, and so there shouldn't be any major problems with it. Let's start with the commander, because he does impact the deck quite a bit. We have Lord of Tresserhorn. He is a legendary zombie from Alliances, which was a little while ago, so you would be forgiven for not remembering who he is. As you can see, this is a 4 mana, 1 blue, black, red, 10-4, and you can pay black to regenerate it. Now you might be thinking, 10-4 for 4 mana? That makes him the Lord of Value Town, not Tresserhorn. But you may have also noticed that I forgot to read most of his text box. The rest of it says, when he enters the battlefield, you lose 2 life, sacrifice 2 creatures, and target opponent draws 2 cards. Thus, we need to have a couple of creatures on the battlefield before we cast him. We also don't want to cast him super often, because we don't want to be giving our opponents free cards, so we want him to stay on the field. Anyway, we are going to blaze through the removal, ramp, and card draw portions, and then we can move into the real meat of the deck. So to start with, we have a small counterspell package, because we're in blue. We have Arcane Denial, Counterspell, Stubborn Denial, and Negate. None of these are crazy counterspells, just old reliable ones. And because we're in red, we have access to Shenanigans. This is one of my pet cards. It's sorcery speed, which I normally try to avoid in my removal, but the fact that you can put it back into your hand at any time that you would draw a card makes it worth it to me. Because we're on black, we have some good creature removal, some of it even on creatures. We have Murderous Cut, Big Game Hunter, and Murderous Rider. The rest of our removal kit is just solid removal spells to round things out. Rakdos Charm, Reality Shift, Terminate, and Soul Manipulation. There's a lot of flexibility in the mass removal slots, but these are the ones that I chose. Last One Standing gives you a 3-cost board wipe. Washout is instant speed. A quick correction, I was thinking of Evacuation, which is instant speed, but costs 1 more mana and hits all creatures. Washout is what I'm running, as it might not hit my board and still clears the opponent's, and does not normally affect you at all. Chandra's Ignition is just phenomenal when your commander has a power of 10. Wipes everything except for him, leaving him free to attack our opponents. Mana curve of this deck is low enough that you do not need as much ramp as you would in many other decks. You could probably cut the Murs for zombies without hurting the deck much at all, but I had never used the Murs before and wanted to give them a shot because I think that they're pretty cool. To start off with, we have Dark Ritual, which is a pet card of mine, and I try to give it a slot in any deck I make with black. Iron Mirror, Leaden Mirror, Silver Mirror, and Plague Mirror, all 2 mana, tap for any color. Iron Mirror also has Infect, but that will rarely ever matter. Hedron Crawler and Milliken round out our creature ramp, and then we also have Talisman of Dominance, Talisman of Indulgence, and Commander's Sphere. Commander's Sphere is just a staple for a good reason. And I went with the black focused talismans because most of the pips in the deck are black. So, moving into card draw, we have Crypt Breaker, Undead Augur, Midnight Reaper, and Graveborn Muse. These 4 are all creatures that give us card advantage in different ways, and quite often we will be trading life for that card advantage. This deck embraces black and red's tendency to rush to the end, no matter whose end it is. Also, we have things like Dark Tutelage, Notion Rain, and Read the Bones. Just more trade your life for cards. These are Notion Rain and Read the Bones being 1-shot, Dark Tutelage a continuous effect. Ghoul Caller's Chant puts 2 of our zombies back into our hand for only 1 mana. Necromancer's Stockpile lets us rummage our creatures and make zombie tokens. Windfall lets us refill our hands, which is very helpful as you often find yourself top decking. Bind of Thassa and Costly Plunder are just 2 cards that fit the bill and weren't too hard on the budget. The card draw in this deck is very important. I have considered changing Costly Plunder to Ambition's Cost or Moonlight Bargain, and if you happen to have a Phyrexian Rena or Dark Confidant sitting around, they do go well into the deck, but I did not have them or have room for them in my budget. Alright, that covers the necessities. Now on to the fun stuff. To start with, there are a couple of cards that just help the deck run more smoothly. Toper Orb lets us play our commander without the downside, and cripples a lot of other decks. Tribute Mage tutors up Toper Orb. Lazotep Plating keeps our stuff alive from targeted removal and gives us a token to sack. Zombie Apocalypse lets us turn the game around if we've been board wiped too many times. Our win con is either Infect or Double Strike on our commander, and then make him unblockable. To do this, we have Tainted Strike and Phyresis. Both of these give our commander Infect, and his 10 power makes that a 1-hit kill. Psychotic Fury, Temur Battle Rage, and Uncaged Fury give our commander Double Strike, which if we have any kind of a power boost on our commander, turns him into a 1-hit kill with commander damage. Now, Infect and Double Strike are great, but if we can't actually make it to our opponents, they don't matter. So we do have several ways to give him unblockable because we are in blue. Aqueous Form, Artful Dodge, and Distortion Strike. All three of these cost 1 mana and make our commander unblockable. Open into Wonder can make our whole team unblockable and possibly refill our hand. Graph Harvest only gives Menace, but it gives it to all of our zombies and can make some tokens in an emergency. Filth is an interesting one as it gives us Swamp Walk, but only if it's in our graveyard and we control a swamp. We do have some discard outlets as well as sack outlets, so that shouldn't be any problem at all. Alright, so we covered the ramp, removal and card draw, and win con, and we are running 34 lands. That leaves us with 14 cards, and they all happen to be creatures because we need to have creatures for our commander to be played. Carrion Feeder is a 1 mana sack outlet and a zombie. Grave Crawler and Reassembling Skeleton are recurring creatures. Grim Initiate replaces himself when he dies. Lazotep Reaver gives us 2 sackable creatures off of 1 card. Nightscape Familiar discounts 18 cards in the deck and is a 2-drop zombie. Shepherd of Rot can be a win con with all the zombies in the deck, but you do need to watch out for the fact that it hurts you as well. Plague Belcher can kill our opponents when they kill our zombies. It makes board wipes really dangerous for our opponents. Diagraph Colossus can be a beater or make a bunch of zombies, or do both. Cemetery Reaper, Death Baron, Diagraph Captain, and Lord of the Accursed all give our zombies +1/+1, which does bring our commander up to that beautiful 11 power. I do have a couple of lands that I want to point out as well. We have Unholy Grotto, which can put our zombies back on top of our deck if they get killed. Tainted Peak and Tainted Isle are lands that can tap for 2 colors if we control a swamp. This deck is mostly black mana, so I packed in quite a few swamps for a 3-color deck. Cathedral of War lets us pump up the power of our commander, bringing it up to the beautiful 11 power. Rogue's Passage is an emergency way of making our commander unblockable. The mana cost is really heavy, but it is worth it in my opinion as a land. So there you have it, there's the deck. The link to the full deck list will be down below. You want to get a couple of creatures on the battlefield quickly so you can summon Lord of Tresserhorn and start swinging in for the win. You need a lot of card draw, but not as much ramp. I probably could have cut some of the mana dorks for more normal zombies, but I liked it this way. The mana curve is very, very low, sitting at about 2.5, so you could have some problems against really big creatures, but the swarms of zombies should cover for that. I have had a lot of fun with this deck so far, and I hope you enjoy it as well. Until the next time, stay safe, stay calm, stay happy, and don't die.